of time, get started here. We're trying to get the sound system work, so just bear with us. If you can't hear me, I would just say move up so that we don't want you to miss anything. We appreciate everyone for taking time to come out tonight. We look forward to the open dialogue and the opportunity to address any concerns you have and have some good conversation about the project we're going to highlight here. So I'll kind of run down our agenda for today. Before I do that, I'm Troy Goodenough, I'm your sheriff, and with me is Captain Dave Raymond. He runs our Uniform Services Division and our Aviation Division. We're going to have a PowerPoint here to discuss the flock DFR, and following that, we'll open it up for some conversation. We just ask everybody to be respectful of each other, whether you're pro or against. Appreciate what they have to say and give them the opportunity. We're not going to ask for your name when you come up here. This is not like most government meetings. You don't have to say where you live. Just express any questions or ask any questions or any concerns that you have. We would just ask in the interest of time if you can keep your comments to about 3 minutes. We're not going to keep opportunity this evening, and we're be cognizant of your time this evening. Before we get started, I have a couple questions. Who in here does not have a cell phone or use a cell phone? Stand up. Okay. And you'll say, well, why is he asking that? And we'll circle around to why I'm asking that. My next question is, if you have a child, a loved one, or an adult that maybe suffers from Alzheimer's or something that wanders away from your house, and you call Monroe County Central Dispatch, do you want us to respond to reunite with that loved one rapidly? If you say no, you do not want us to respond with all the resources. Pardon me?
What resources?
I'll get into that. I said all resources so that you can reunite.
It's resource dependent.
No, I just asked a question, and I said, keep that in mind. After our program, it'll circle back around to why I asked that question. Give you a little history on the Sheriff's Office in aviation. Early 2000, Sheriff Tillman Crutchfield obtained 2 aircrafts, 2 helicopters that we used for many, many years for search and rescue and to look for missing people and crime prevention. DFRs are no different. When Sheriff Malone took over in 2013, he eliminated the Aircraft Aviation Division and he purchased a drone to maintain that same type of service and resource. When I took over as your sheriff in 2021, we upgraded that resource. We now have multiple drones. We have a drone that does interior searches with our SWAT team. And we have a bigger drone that we do search and rescue in different operations that we utilize that device for. So the DFR has a different name, but the purpose and mission remains the same. And I want you to think about something, and I know there's some people here that were anti-data center. This has nothing to do that addressed the township board that got my attention. And it was the environmental impact that a data center would have on our community, our waterways, our noise. Now, having that same piece of information, and let's say that we have a traffic crash on I-75 in our waterways in Frenchtown Township. It was a significant amount of time before the first responders had an opportunity to assess that situation and determine that we had fuel leakage into the Sandy Creek. Wouldn't it be nice to have a piece of equipment that could be there in 85 seconds and give an overview for the emergency first responders, say, hey, this is a chemical, boy, is this a chemical that we need to keep contained? We need to shelter in place or evacuate, protect our citizens? Or is equally as important, we have a fuel leak and it's getting into Sandy Creek in 85 seconds. We can tell our dispatch and first responders we now need to dispatch the appropriate resources to deal with this, versus an hour later when the men and women of our first responders get on scene and assess. So just keep that in mind. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Captain Dave Raymond. As I said, he's going to give you a presentation on SWAT, DFR, and then we'll open up for questions after that. Yes, sir.
I just have one question. Where is our board tonight?
Where's
I
what?
thought that our board would be.
No, your board cannot be here. The Frenchtown Township has nothing to do with this.
Well, they got approved.
They have to approve what?
Along with that.
No, they don't.
No?
No. And I don't want to get into too many questions and answer, but I'll clear up your questions in case anybody has the same thing.
I just thought they'd be interested in what our comments are, our concerns.
Well, we'll be more than happy to share them. More than happy. We merely went to Frenchtown Township to seek permission when we started doing our analysis of the piece of property that we originally selected for this pilot program. The flock group said no because there was too much foliage that couldn't be placed on it. That's the permission that we needed from them. To do a drone operation, I do not need their permission. Just, again, not trying to be arrogant, I'm just trying to. No, and again, if they were here and there was a quorum that would have to be posted, there'd have to be, so they don't violate the open meeting. I was at a Frenchtown meeting, there was some ladies there that had some concerns, and I said, you know what? I don't mean just ladies, there were some men there as well. And I said, hey, let's have a town hall meeting, and let's address these concerns in an open forum, and give people the opportunity to ask their questions, meaningful conversation, and get the accurate information from us. All right? Thank you, and I'll let the captain get started with his presentation.
Good evening, everybody. This is going to be pretty short and sweet, right? We're going to start with the basics, where we started, where we're hoping to go, some of the technology involved in it. We've got a couple of short videos kind of showing you what the program's capable of. Then we'll open up questions for everybody. So as the sheriff said, we have partnered with Flock for this DFR program. They're currently on the market by far. There's no comparison. So Flock we're just using for the software portion of it, flight controls and mapping systems. So we'll go over the breakdown, the difference between the drones that we currently have in the DFR program, the drones of first responder, how the technology integrates into our existing technology with CAD, our dispatch system, how it relates to Monroe County, some examples and use cases, and then obviously most important in everybody's minds, I'm guessing, is going to be the safety, the security, and the transparency portal. So as we'll see, there's going to be a public-facing portal that you can see every flight we conduct. All right, so we're not hiding anything. So today, if we were to get called, sent to a call for service that required a drone, the deputy gets on scene, or the trooper, or the officer, whoever needs it, gets on scene, determines, hey, I need a drone for whatever reason. A missing person, a fleeing suspect, whatever the case may be. If I was home right now, I'd have to throw my uniform, get in my patrol car, drive to the office. Our large drone is kept on the second floor, right? I walk up there, run back down into my patrol car, I drive to the scene, and then I launch. Obviously, depending on traffic, time of day, and all the whatever else is going on in life, that can take some time. With the DFR program, anywhere our pilots have a computer and internet connection, they can launch the drone. All right. The drones themselves, we'll discuss here shortly, has a 3.5 mile radius from the base station. They can get on scene in roughly 90 seconds from the launch point. Part of this process also will be Flock 911. So they may be listening and say, this is a call that needs the drone. All right, so before the dispatcher is even able to type it into the CAD system and even think about dispatching a deputy or a trooper or whoever, that pilot can send that drone and get it flying that way. This is going to be a huge opportunity for us to get a drone in the air, be able to scan out over Lake Erie, and help first responders, whether it's our boat or fire, locate those missing people in a much faster time. And obviously, you know anything about Lake Erie, those waves can kick up and capsize a boat in no time. All right, so the quicker we can get someone on scene and keep eyeballs on, the much better chance you're going to have of survival of watching and walking rescue into it. SWAT and tactical support. We do have a SWAT team within the counties, joint between the county sheriff's office and the city of Monroe Police. This will be able to provide overwatch for that drone. So So say we have a barricaded subject, we can have this drone in the sky, live stream to the incident command vehicle, to any team commander or anything, to give an overview of that scene itself. And as you can imagine, someone that is in charge of 20 different people, picking out where they're at, what they're doing, what they're watching, it's a lot easier to keep track of everybody with that in the sky. With that, obviously, we can do that with our the pre-planned range. We can do that with our current drone, but this just makes it a lot easier and simpler to use. Than any kind of investigation and evidence. I'll show you a video later. A subject had assaulted a girlfriend with a firearm. He flees. The drone finds him fleeing down an alleyway, hops a fence, and it actually shows him, the drone's watching as he buries the gun underneath the stuff. Hops the fence again and keeps on walking. Without that drone in the sky actually watching that, the chances of finding that gun, a canine maybe would have been able to track the suspect down, but wouldn't have been able to jump in fences and recovering that kind of property. Is it going to solve everything? No, but it's going to be. All right, some of why the DFR matters for public safety. On average, it's an 83-second response time. 80% of the cases that these are, the agencies these are used with, that's the first responder, 80% of the time, right? It beats anybody on the road. And as you can imagine, as the crow flies, it's going to be a lot faster with no traffic or anything else to worry about. The drone gets on scene much faster. Reduced response times, again, provides an 86% average reduction in response time. Locating subjects prior to the patrol response and relaying key information. All right, relaying that information to the deputies as they respond to the scene makes it safer for everybody. Right, nobody's getting surprised when they get onto a scene of what they're getting into. There have been cases where the police were called because I don't think I have this video, but the police were called because the subject was at a gas station reportedly with a gun in his waistband. They pulled the gun out, so as you can imagine, multiple road cars were responding to this. What the drone was able to see as the other cars were responding, it was a pistol-shaped lighter. Right? Luckily, the drone pilot was able to see this guy light a cigarette with a pistol-shaped lighter. Probably not the smartest thing, and I'm not saying many people would do that, but relaying that critical information so that there wasn't an accidental or misunderstanding and a shooting involved in that. So it provides that critical information as the patrol units are responding. Another thing is it can clear calls in support of the patrol officers. Throughout the day, we'll get calls for vehicle, a tree down in the roadway. If we can fly that drone on scene first before responders even get there, car's already been moved, it's been fixed, we can disregard that officer, or at least slow them down for whatever it needs. That we're saving those resources for the in-progress calls and things that are more important at the time. So this is some of the integration. Everybody see decently on these TVs? Nice. So as I mentioned, Flock 911, where the drone pilot actually listens to the 911 call. Right? Dispatchers do an amazing job in this county. However, they can't type in every single word a 911 caller makes. Right? So some of those things that they may miss while typing in their notes, if that pilot hears something, with a long background or experience that they think is a little more important and just happen to miss those notes, that can be a critical aspect of it. Flock LPR, as most of you know, we have Flock license plate readers throughout the county. If this gets a hit, the pilot will instantly get notified of the location of the LPR hit, as long as, and for those that don't know, LPR is license plate reader. So if there was a stolen vehicle that gets hit, say Dixie and 75, the drone pilot would instantly get notified of the location of the vehicle information, and it would give them the GPS coordinates. He or she can hit that button, and I'm refreshing. It keeps on going to sleep on me. Thank you. Thanks. So it'll give you GPS coordinates. The pilot can hit that, call for service. The drone pilot can then take over and start searching for that vehicle. And the LPRs give you the direction to travel to, so you know which way you're looking for that suspect vehicle. And then live video. The drone can send live video from itself down to unit supervisors, right, to the deputies, terminals within their car. So as they're responding to the scene or as they're supervising the scene, they can make those critical information. And from flying the drone since 2017, I can tell you that the view from the sky, as you can imagine, is much different than looking straight across something. It's a lot easier to control a scene, and when you're above 200 feet. And then CAD, computer assisted dispatch. So this will blend right with our CAD system. Who's it again?
If you were trying to switch to a different slide, I think that's been on the same slides for a couple of minutes.
No, that was the same one.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Thank you. No, thank you. So this syncs directly with our CAD system, right? So when a call for service comes in, part of the CAD, and 911 instantly provides the GPS coordinate. So if it's a call for service, it's something that the drone is needed, the drone pilot can click on that call for service. The GPS coordinates are automatically put in there, and it can fly directly to that scene without worrying about pilot input. There's going to be a mobile app that the deputies in command will have. Talking about suspect cases, right? Stolen vehicles. If someone steals something from Meyer, they get a description, see them in there. They can lock onto that vehicle and follow it through. And we're working on multi-drone. So our thought right now is we're going to have 2 locations for base stations, and each location will have 2 docks with 2 drones. So a total of 4 drones. We already have some FAA waivers that allow us to fly beyond visual line of sight, which we require for a program like this. But we'll also be applying for a waiver for multi-drones. So that would allow one pilot to operate multiple drones at one time. Right? And you think maybe that's not the safest? With the software and the way these are built, as it's said with the GPS coordinates, so I can fly, launch, fly to the scene. On average, I'm going to have a 25-minute loiter time. So in the air watching that scene. Obviously, the batteries deplete at some point. We have an average of 55 minutes of flight time. But if I can watch for 25 minutes, if I get the waiver for multiple, as this one's about to die and return home, I can have that other one up and we can leapfrog and keep it in the air almost continuously. Right, so it's going to be a huge benefit. So here's that. Proposed layouts with one dock station being in Frenchtown Township, one group of docks in Monroe Township, and with the overlap that will also cover the entire city of Monroe, minus a little bit towards like the lake for Outskill. So 2 launch locations, 4 docks. The one in Monroe Charter Township, we're looking at putting that on the Township Hall at 4925 East Dunbar. The locations for Frenchtown Township, we're still determining. As the sheriff mentioned, we initially wanted to put it on the senior center, but with the evaluation and the large radius because of signal strength. So that's why we're determining a new location for that, which hasn't been picked out yet. And I apologize if I'm not talking loud enough. Effective coverage, as I covered, 3.5 miles in any direction, a 55-minute flight time, and depending obviously on the distance from the dock, an average of 25 minutes on scene time before you have to return and go back to your station. Even if we don't have the waiver for multiple drones, this drone travels 45 miles per hour, right? So it's not going to take me long to get from that 3.5 miles out, back, land it, and get the other one back up and running. So we'll have pretty continuous flight time. As the sheriff mentioned, this is more than just law enforcement. This is all public safety. There's no reason that we can't work together to make this entire community safer and better. With this, any kind of structure flare that comes in, if I can get the drone overhead and start providing the live feed to fire command, right, letting them know, 1, yes, we have a fire. Yes, there's smoke. Yes, there's flames. I'm seeing it out of this side of the house. This will also have thermal, so you can tell which part is actually producing the heat. It lets fire command make the educated determination of what fire apparatus they're going to bring, how many. Or if I get in the air, they get there and there is no sight of smoke, of flame, or any additional heat. All right, maybe I can slow it down, we'll evaluate there, and then we can make the determination.
So if you get a call, you're not gonna send somebody out right away until your drone gets to site?
If it's something that requires police response, we're still gonna send it.
Okay.
Yeah, but this just helps make an informed decision for some of those larger situations. Say the mall, right, saying, hey, we're getting a fire alarm here. We get in scene, start flying around. Obviously, fire is gonna get that fire alarm, they're gonna start responding. But if we can tell them, yeah, we're seeing flames, it's coming out of this side of the building, and give them a more informed decision, they can start asking for additional resources from the township, from the city, and kind of help make that informed decision a little better than they can blindly. So we're still gonna send help, don't worry, we're not only sending drones to handle, these drones don't have microphones or speakers, so I can't talk to you through it. So we're not taking out the human aspect whatsoever, just making a more informed decision.
And just so, and I should have said this in the beginning, I want everybody to understand, this is not to replace boots on the ground, not at all. This is just another tool for our toolbox to improve the services that we deliver to the citizens of Monroe County, and another tool to protect our officers in multiple situations. It's not replacing a single.
Again, just the rapid response, first on scene, critical situational awareness, live intel while they're en route. So like I said, they can see that live feed as they're responding to the scene. Scene assessment, what's needed, what's not. With the drones, we have a lot of train tracks through here, a lot of tanker, I'm not a railroad guy. But obviously there's a lot of chemicals that pass through this county. With the zoom on the drone, and they would all be required to have placards, you can read that placard, say if we had an issue. With the thermal aspect of that drone, you can actually see the fill within that drone, just from the heat resonating off of it. I was very surprised, back in 2021, we started training with ours. You can actually see how much that tank is holding with that chemical. So obviously that provides extremely valuable information to any kind of hazmat situation. In joint response, right? This is just our start of what we're looking to get into. But the more agencies, departments, organizations that we can help for public safety, we're gonna do it. All right, so this is just showing a very small portion of the transparency portal. Every flight we fly will be on this transparency portal, right? Nothing is being hidden. It will show you the flight path, where it flies. It'll give you the call for service, the reason we're flying in that area. I'm sorry? Outcomes? I don't know. Obviously, we're still brand new into this. I don't know that it will show the outcomes, like good, bad. You know, do we find the person? Do we not find the person? Type of thing. But it will.
How do we know what the outcomes are, and how are we going to use this as a tool to evaluate whether we're going to continue with this program or not? A very valuable question. Every call for service will generate what we call a call. There will be CAD notes added, and the captain's right. Call, and we can look at it, and it will tell you with the CAD notes what the outcome of it. And then pilot this for 1 year. If we see value, then we'll look at continuing it. There'll be a team that we will put together of first responders from various disciplines to look at this. Is it good return on our investment? Did it reach the objectives that we wanted to reach? And that was provide superior public service to our residents and hopefully save lives. And if we don't get those just as a couple points answered, then there's no need to go forward. That's why it's called a pilot program. So, and I know we want to get through this and then we'll go. And
I'm almost done here.
Yeah, just give us a couple more minutes and then we'll get back into that question, okay? Thank you.
All right, so as I said, I'm almost done. Summary. With us working with FLOT, they provide the station software, the waivers, which depending on who you work with can cost quite a bit of money. All that's required for us to put these stations up are 220 volts and internet connection. All right, and the sheriff's office and the county are gonna provide, wherever we find these base stations are gonna pay for that cost. The difference between this and the traditional drones, the DFR operates beyond visual line of sight. Normally, whenever you're flying a drone, whether it's big or small, you have to keep it within line of sight. I have a little one that's this big that I can fly underneath all your chairs through here. Obviously, if I was flying that outside, I can't fly it very far. Our large one, that's about as wide as this table and about this big, I can fly a mile out and still see it. All right, so it's all different. But obviously, if you round a corner or hit it over a tree line, you lose that sight, you can't fly it any further. With this, we're able to fly beyond that visual line of sight. As the sheriff said, this is a force multiplier, not a replacement. We're not removing boots on the ground, deputies out there going to your front door if you call. This is just another tool for them to use. Extends our reach, reduces response time drastically, and improves outcomes before personnel even arrives. I haven't covered it yet, but camera positioning. When this launches from the dock, it flies straight up to 200 feet. 200 feet is what our FAA waiver allows us to fly under. The camera faces straight forward and flies directly to that scene. The pilot then takes control, will then tilt the camera down and start searching whatever he or she is looking for. Okay? But from the point of the dock to the scene, the camera is facing straight forward. We're not looking down, we're not peeking into people's backyards, peeking through windows. It's just straight. Okay? On top of that, in order for us to obtain any kind of evidence from anywhere that a citizen would have an expectation of privacy, we're required to obtain a search warrant. Right? The same kind of search warrant I would have to get if I wanted to walk into your house. Right? So we don't take this lightly. We're not spying on people. We don't have the time, the inclination, desire, or the legality to do anything like that. Right? This is just to help us get from point A to point B. Search at that point. And then just finally, the DFR program is used for active public safety missions. It's not going to launch or fly for it. We're not out flying marches. We're not flying any kind of protest. That's a protected thing, and we're not going to touch it, right? This is for active public safety incidents. All right, so I told you I was going to play a couple of videos. Look like these fell asleep again. So I'll go over them, and then I'll have to shut the PowerPoint down and then open up the videos. So this first one I'm going to show you, it gets a license plate reader hit of a stolen vehicle. It launches from the DFR program. They locate a stolen vehicle. It guides officers right in there, take them into custody. It then gets a second LPR hit for a second stolen vehicle. It also locates them. That'll be the first one we watch. The second one is what I talked about earlier. Man threatens his girlfriend with a firearm. He flees on foot. The drone locates him, follows him through an alleyway. He hops a fence. The pilot watches him bury a gun in the backyard, changes clothes, hops the fence again, and keeps on walking. Without that drone in the air, chances are they never would have found that, or a child would have possibly found that gun in the backyard. And then just the third one, which is kind of interesting. They get a 911 hang-up call. I butt dialed, okay? We still have to check on that person. So the drone pilot actually called the complainant back. Hey, you okay? Yep, I'm fine. I'm at the mall. I just got back into my car. So, okay, well, put your hand out the window, wave to me. Little did the person know that the drone was already overhead, looking down, looks up, waves to the pilot, talks to him. All set, all right? So many uses, those are just a couple examples. Let me get to the videos. So as you can see with that, I'll go back a little bit, but when it takes off, this is the forward-facing.
Well, he's searching that, and you bring up a good point, and I told you, you want to know what the outcomes were as the public. This is what we want your feedback. What other things would you like to see? I'm not telling you we can make it all happen, but we will definitely look into it. If you say, well, I want to know what this drone did in this operation, that's something that we can put on a public portal and not violate any rights or anything. I'll stop, I want you to see this.
So this is the one at the mall. zooms in, confirms the number, just waves to the pilot, right? Not saying that we're not gonna still respond to make sure, but at least we can let, hey, she's parked right here, says everything's fine. Response time drastically. Really like this one, well, let me see if it does. This is the guy that assaulted his girlfriend with a firearm. People in the front yard of the house had no idea this guy was in their backyard, right next to their dog. I think Fido was helping him bury it. So like I said earlier, with a canine, you may be able to track where this person goes eventually, but the chance that you would have recovered that firearm or even known that he threw that firearm on there was slim to none. Right. These are just a couple of use cases. The other one, I think, crashed on me, but so this is a stolen vehicle. White truck with the trailer with the car on the back of it. They got the LPR hit, flew it to that location, located the license plate that came back as stolen. And as you'll see, the patrol units walk right into it, take the subjects into custody. And that's what it looks like when we're just flying forward. Camera just even with
Second car, right?
yeah, now it's got that second LPR hit, so they're looking for that one. You see the patrol units on the bottom there, pulling in behind it. We're gonna pull into this parking lot, take them into custody. So it's two stolen vehicles.
Or would you prefer to come up to the podium?
Can we also just sit down?
Pardon me?
Can we just sit down?
Oh, absolutely. As long as, what I just want is everybody can hear the question and make sure they hear our response. This is an open conversation, so it's not, so what's that?
Just speak loudly and distinctly.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking. Like I said, this is not some hard, fast rules. And then we'll come back, don't need it. Right, go back, and then we'll go to the left. Anybody in the front row? Yes, sir.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, who else locally, I guess, Michigan, has piloted, and what was their?
Great, that's great. Yeah, well, and thank you, that's a great question. She asked, who else has a system BFR, if I can rephrase it a little bit, in Michigan? The captain, the Monroe Public Safety Lieutenant, went to Oakland County and looked at their program, went to Dearborn and looked at their program, in the city of Toledo Police, in the city of Toledo. And there are other downriver agencies, I think, that are in the infancy stages of starting their program as well.
A shooting, active shooter at the high school. Can you walk through what happens, I mean, based on the presentation?
Yeah, so, and I'll give you, and the captain will jump in here, being he is also the
Based
captain.
on the time frame, because there's a short time frame window that they want, right, or there's 25 minutes.
Yeah, so,
55 minutes of flight, depending on the distance from the dock, you can expect at least 25 minutes in the air, watching the scene before you have to go back and switch out.
So you get a call that there's an active shooter, then what happens? If you launch the drone,
You would launch immediately, head to wherever that was taking place, and start providing overwatch and add any additional information to those responding officers that you can, right? If you see someone with a gun, obviously, or if you start seeing people fleeing from a certain area, I'm just gonna take Monroe High as an example, right? If they're all fleeing out of A wing, or you see something at B wing, you can just provide that additional information as the responding units are running late since I was going to that call.
and I want to expand on that. Remember, we said, we hear the call coming in. So before a single police officer gets dispatched, that drone is launching, and getting us. We don't want to talk about a tragic event like that, but this is a great tool for us, because now we can keep eyes on the situation. If the offender flees, we're tracking him with the drone. And you know, one of the things that we're very fortunate in this county and city is we have a school resource officer in every school district that hopefully can mitigate our exposure to further problems related to a tragic event like that. Did that answer your question, ma'am? Well, what can we give you to help you clarify?
I'm good.
Just provide more information.
Anything in the next row? Well, if
Yeah.
not, we'll come back. Like I said, don't feel.
I'm just curious about so it's a pilot program, and, you're gonna have a board that's gonna review this program after a year, right? Or
Yeah. Keep in mind,
where
we're,
this is going.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of who these members are gonna? Civil liberties attorney, maybe ACLU type of, just, because a lot of people's concerns, mine especially, is just, you know, your Fourth Amendment type issues. And to see it during this program, at any time, was there a violation, or has it been?
some concerns I heard from people in the community, which I said, let's get this out. And I value that because yes, and let me just say this, we have 20 weeks of preparation before this gets put in, before we launch our first drone, correct? But yes, we're gonna look at what we want. We want a diverse group of people. We want citizens, and you know what? I never thought about the civil liberties attorney. 100%. This is gonna be a group of people that can make an informed decision and take that information back to their group that they represent. And I know we weren't gonna get into the flocks and the LPRs too much, but we do audits. The captain oversees that. We have various levels. And that same level of security is gonna be given to this operation. And I have my moral compass, that's transparency. I've been your sheriff for 5 years, almost 4 months. And I take that opportunity to be your sheriff, and I take my oath of office as a liberties attorney. I have absolutely no problem with somebody on that group.
What you just said, okay, about, I got a problem with a couple of you, what do you got?
Okay, well, that's not for public, we'll have that conversation, absolutely.
What happens if the drone falls?
Pardon me?
If the drone falls, if it does happen, if the drone falls out of the sky,
Yes, ma'am?
what happens? I mean.
Well, we're gonna pray that it doesn't damage property or
but
people.
it's possible.
Yes, ma'am, anything is possible. I'm not gonna tell you it's not. I can tell you when we had the 2 aircraft flying, and there's somebody in the crowd that'll probably address you on that issue. They always said when we put the helicopter, the pilots would tell us this. I was in the administration under Sheriff Malone, and they said it's not if that helicopter crashes, it's when. And when it does,
We are in a small town here. So, I mean, I support it over fire, I support it over water, I don't support it over houses or roads.
And
Or for China, so those are my goals.
there is nothing that we fly within this county that Google Earth can't tell you. Enclosed, and the FAA regulates flying over people, flying over residences. The state of Michigan can't even regulate that at this time. The FAA has full regulations over any kind of airplane, and that's part of the waivers we've already received. All of our pilots will be Part 107 trained, FAA certified remote pilots. Right? Again, like the sheriff said, I can't tell you that it's impossible that these things crash. Won't crash. I've been flying them since 2017, knock on wood. never had one go down, but I can't say it's not gonna happen.
But tables and design ones that you have to keep in eyesight, so these are really different.
They're the same exact routes, just different regulations.
Taylor Police did have theirs for that,
They did.
so it's not.
Yep, and that's why I didn't go up here and tell you it can't happen. I said, I'm not, bad things can happen. Take you back about 48 hours or 3.5 days ago. Bad things happen. And this is another tool to mitigate bad things from happening. Anything else? Yes, sir.
With it being 3.5 mile circumference or whatever the radius, you'll need a lot more drones, will you not, to cover Monroe County? I mean,
Oh, and I can tell you, when we started this, because over a year ago, we said, what's our 1-year plan? What's our 2-year? We have actually a 5 to 6-year plan. They're preliminary. If the pilot program produces results that the group feels is valuable and resourceful, we do want to put a few more out there. So we're going to be very limited to where we put them. So.
obviously with it being a pilot program, you want to put it where it's going to be a lot more activity, so.
So I'll give you any kind of statistics, okay? District 1, the county's broken up into 3 districts. District 1, let me back up. Each district has 5 townships. District 1 is Monroe, Frenchtown, Berlin, Ash, and Raisinville. Those 5 townships handle 67% of the cost of service in this county. So why did we choose to pilot this in Frenchtown 2 and 3? Could we put one in Bedford Township? We could centrally locate that and cover all 4 corners. My goes, what's our 5-year plan? What's our cost? And how do we fund it? And those are questions that we are prepared. We prepared to answer when we did this. And I can't stress enough, this is pilot. If we find that there is more bad than good, that thing will go right. We'll send it back and say thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to test it, but it's not for us. Did I answer your question?
That was my question, where does the funding come from, and what is the financial burden to the residents of
Yep,
Monroe
so,
County?
and that's a great question. And what we did before we agreed to look at this pilot program, we said we have to be prepared if we do like the results and it's effective, what's our cost? We sat down with the county finance team, and we said, listen, this is, we get this 1 year, at no cost for the involved in putting these platforms out, the electric and the monthly cost. If we do see the value and we go forward, can we fund this? And the county has forecasted, as you know, or if you may not know, they forecast 5 years out, revenue versus expenditures. And we gave them the big picture, and they said, yes, the funding is there, no additional taxes, no nothing. No fund as well.
Is that, sorry, just to follow up on your point, it's directly related. Would it be through the county that we would find that exact number, or is that a number that you can give us for the cost, the projected cost for 5 years?
Well, it's not a secret. I'll tell you what the cost is. Each platform is $125,000, each platform. And to further answer your question, I don't have a problem with, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just trying to make sure, one, I don't miss anybody and everybody has a chance to talk. Every year, the county produces a budget, usually on or before November 15th. And before they do that, there's 2 public hearings. And it will outline that budget. But as we do now in the sheriff's office, we have 200 and some line items in the county budget. You can go and look at them online, and you can go to the county board, and they'll entertain your information to know what this dollar is going for, what it's being spent on. Absolutely. And if most of you know, since I've been your sheriff, I produce an annual report. This DFR program will be in that annual report, cost, calls for service, outcomes that we will share with you. There is nothing we're hiding on this. We are being as transparent as the glass on that commission board or whatever group to review this. Did I answer your question, sir?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
You mentioned FOIA. Is all the footage taken by these drones able to be obtained that way?
I don't want to say all, because there may be something that we have to redact to protect somebody else's constitutional rights. So, and as an example, we're dispatched to 3200 North Monroe. for a call, and we pick up something going on at the neighbor's house, we're going to redact that because that was not related to the call in which we responded to. Is that?
Yeah, I have actually a couple questions.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is, you,
You jump in here.
would these drones, this might be a weird one, would these drones be considered an officer?
No.
You know, you call them pilots and first responders, I was just curious, because that was like.
No different. It's another tool on our tool belt, like my radio. It's another tool
Yeah.
to do our
So
job.
are dogs, I mean, the dogs are considered officers, aren't they?
Dogs are different.
Yeah.
Because of the,
Well, I mean, that's why I was asking.
yep, the dogs are different. They have their own, shoot a dog.
And then you said it's the same drones but different regulations. Sheriff's Department, or is
Yes,
that?
the sheriff's office, is the one that, obtained the waivers from the FAA.
Okay, and then my last question is, all the participating offices in all the cities that have their own programs, do they have the same program?
There are several that are going to the flock system.
There's
Several,
different regulations?
same regulations, just different
Okay.
software and hardware.
Who governs those regulations?
The FAA,
It's the government.
the federal government,
Federal
yeah.
government.
If you don't know that, I completely understand. I go to a fire meeting and they have a whole different set of acronyms, so.
And one thing I want to just let you know is, I, as a sheriff, established policy. I've established a policy that everybody will have a 107 waiver. There are some, that's just a higher standard than technically what's required. Again, I set the policy for how our program operates, but I can't set anything less critical or less restrictive than the FAA guidelines.
My last question is, jurisdictions, so these things, they're flying in the air for Monroe County, can they go beyond the jurisdiction that an officer can?
Well, in this particular case, the flight path of these drones is only 3.5
Okay,
miles.
I
They're completely within our.
Within Monroe County's corners. Is that? Sometimes we talk in different language, people are like, what are they saying? So if you don't understand, please see.
Will they be used to issue speeding tickets?
Absolutely not.
Not at all.
No traffic enforcement, absolutely not. And as the captain said, they're not used for surveillance. They're drone first responders. Let's get eyes on what we have, and we're still sending. I can divert that car that's going to the suspicious vehicle, keep the drone potential there, go to the armed robbery, launch the second drone. By all means, our intention is to not stop responding with law enforcement, it's just to get a quicker response and eyes on the scene, no matter what that is. And we're still developing the criteria as to what we're going to respond to.
So do you currently have a policy that's outlined or drafted?
We do not have a policy outlined or drafted for the DFRs because we're 20 weeks out. We have a drone policy that we will model the DFR policy after, but kind of putting it on steroids, if you will, because there's a lot more moving parts. Next row? Yes, sir.
I just want to say, first of all, thanks for coming up and doing the presentation.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, I was aware that you had drones and would operate, you had also operating a drone.
Everybody hearing okay?
No.
He was just saying thank you for coming. If I say something's not correct.
Yes, and, so it was informative to me that the AI portion.
Yeah, and that's not even AI, that's just going to GPS coordinates, right? So there's no thinking involved, it's, hey, where are my coordinates, where am I at, where am I going to? That's the only thing that's not controlled, and the pilot can't control that, but that's the only thing that's just can't be automatic.
And it's piloted from the.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me get this gentleman right up here, please. Yes.
So who are the drone pilots? Are those other officers?
Currently, yes.
And for this pilot, what will be officers piloting?
Yes.
So if there was ever an incident, are those officers responsible for anything that would happen? Like if you're pursuing someone in a black hoodie and they go in the gas station and then I come out of the gas station in a black hoodie and I'm tackled by the officers because the drone pilot was like, there was a guy in a black hoodie.
Well, it'll be anybody that's involved. So there's an allegation of, I'm just going to use the word misconduct, somebody that violated our policy. There's an investigation. We don't wait for a citizen to call in and say something happened. We do a meaningful review on everything. We do it for two purposes. To find out, one, to make sure that we're following policy and procedure, to make sure our men and women are doing things correctly. and to mitigate our exposure to any problems, and to address it before small things become major problems.
And then, public to see where the drone can now be shut off.
Right, we're not, like I said, we've got nothing to hide. So it's here, it's out and about, and that's what you get.
What's to stop someone from turning it off before flying?
The admin side, we can pick and choose. The pilots will not have that option.
Correct.
Okay.
And just so everybody understands, why would we shut it off? Let's say that we're going to be executing a drug search warrant, we want some aerial surveillance or a SWAT mission, we may not want that conveyed to the public. And we, as a group, the administration may make a determination.
Safety, with them knowing that actually the drones are helpful or assistance to maybe, avoid the area or help me out, and that's all about there.
Okay, so if at 8 o'clock tonight, we're going to execute a search warrant on somebody, on a person that's wanted for, to be honest with you, most bad guys listen to the radio, they monitor everything we do, and we're not going to televise, or we're not going to forecast, hey, we're coming to get you. That's where we would use that. Again, every time with that tracking device, and I will establish who has the authority to shut that off. And I can tell you, it's probably not going to be anybody below the rank of captain. And we will monitor that, and we'll reach, and at the end of the 1-year trial, we will report back. The tracking system was turned off X number of times, and this is the purpose that it was turned off.
Why flop?
We,
Versus other programs?
well, and that's a great question, because we have flock LPRs in the county, and they give us a free trial. It's a trial, and that's exactly why. I didn't want to spend $250,000 to buy a piece of equipment that had no return on investment. I was trying to be cognitive as you as taxpayers' money. Where can we get the best opportunity to test and evaluate this I don't want to say system, but this is equipment to determine whether we want to move forward.
You said it was.
Whatever we went with, we would have to pay to have the infrastructure put in place to run these, but we get them for 1 year at no cost.
Correct.
Why are they giving you drones for free?
Well, one, they want us to look at their company, but we may look at multiple companies when we're done. We don't know what that looks like.
And we have looked at multiple companies before we started this. It was mentioned that Taylor PD's drone had crashed. Quite frankly, it is a substandard system that they were flying. That's all there is to it, right? We looked at their system. I went up there, watched them fly, and the drone that we have that's 5 years old has better technology than what they were flying. So we chose obviously not to go with them.
Can I ask the brand?
Brink.
The brand of drone?
Brink.
Crash.
BRINC.
Okay.
And again, I will tell you, I didn't do this background, right? We have probably the most to it, and we have, as I said, a command officer from the city of Monroe, and Captain Rainey, probably the most educated law enforcement men that has either do a drone in this county, and probably in Southeast Michigan. I didn't get my hands into it, neither did the director of the Monroe City Police. We said, you men, go out, do the research, bring the results back to us, so that we had an unbiased opinion.
Well, now we're
And that's a great question. I will tell you right now, to talk to your speeding ticket issue. In the state of Michigan, you cannot use cameras to write citations. You cannot. The government regulates that. Now, if the government changes it, that's one thing, or the state government, I should say. Whether I buy into that then becomes my decision. And I will tell you, if we change anything that has a substantial impact on the model that we're using and that we're going to implement at this trial, I will make it public notice. I will put it out to the public that we're making these changes. As long as I'm sheriff, I'm confident I can tell you we will not use these drones to issue traffic citations.
What about general surveillance? I mean, what's to stop the use case of the drones expanding over time?
But I mean, I think we can do it, but then I'm going to be in federal court, and I really don't want to throw my career and my credibility away for something that doesn't affect me, right? We have better things to do than the negative light. We're not going to do that. That's why this should be a prime example of us holding this meeting, this evening, this dialogue, that we're going to keep everybody informed. Our policy on our drone, I'm not 2017 is we don't do it. We don't do it. So by my math, 8.5 years, we've not violated the Constitution. I can only say since I've been a sheriff, 5 years and 4 months, and we're not gonna trample on that.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Dave. I'm gonna be pro on this issue. And the first question I'm gonna ask you folks out here, how many of you have grandchildren?
Don't use fear.
Pardon?
Don't use fear.
No, I'm not using, I don't wanna scare anybody, I'm just asking a question.
That's a fear question.
Well, I don't know how it's a fair question.
Remember
I was just saying,
remember what comment ago?
Hold on, Dave,
It
let's
takes
go
a
back over here.
village to raise your children. Let's become that village again. Let's protect our children together.
Yeah,
Instead of
absolutely.
with robots and stuff.
What I'm saying though, if you had your grandchild or your child lost out in the middle of nowhere somewhere, and we did. I'll give you a classic example. There was a lady that was in the Cattails right off of Rainbow Marina on South Otter Road. She'd been there for 3 days. The helicopter, we had to fly from the airport out to that location. Okay? You still had to fly over houses to get there. Drones are going to have to do the same thing. All I want to do is let people know through experience. I spent 12 years in the aviation, 28 years on the sheriff's department, 2 years in Vietnam, flying helicopters. I know what helicopters can do. The drones now are just a replacement for the helicopters. They're not out there to spy on people. The whole project is to help. It's to help the citizens of Monroe County.
I see more and more spying going on in this world by the government. And we should be surveillancing them.
Yeah.
It's not about
You do.
all these cameras.
Not enough. Not enough.
All right, let's move on back here. Next question, I know the lady's back here.
So, yeah, I'm one of those Frenchtown ladies.
Yes.
That you talked about earlier. And, yeah, I'm against the drones too, but okay, first of all, I feel it's First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, 14th Amendment right to the invasion of our privacy. And I feel like we have a full-time fire department, we have a sheriff's substation right here, we have what we need, we have all we need. My problem is, okay, I'm not saying you're not a good sheriff, I respect you. The thing is,
It's against federal law to put any kind of weapons on
it's
your
a
own.
state law, but,
The federal government prohibits putting weapons on
well,
your
I
own.
think I heard it had to do with state, but anyways, the thing is.
That's what we're here for tonight, is to give you
Okay, well, there's federal
facts.
laws, and why does North Dakota have it? Because North Dakota does. And the last thing I want to be doing is sitting on my patio and start getting pinged by, rubber bullets or paint bullets or tasers, because that's what North Dakota uses. So that's a fact. So, that scares me. Because I don't trust our higher up government. It's not that I don't trust you, I don't trust our higher up government.
You have every right to feel that way. That's why we're here, to give you facts, not fiction tonight. We give you truth. I see.
Well, then you need to look into that, because the weaponization.
I need to look into what?
The weaponization, because that's what scares me, because North Dakota does weaponize them, and like I said, the last thing I want is to be sitting on my patio and have start getting pinged by rubber bullets because the drone messed up. You know what I mean? I didn't do anything, the drone messed up, because they do make mistakes. And my other fear is, like you said, my grandkids have drones and they fall out of the air all the time. They
That's the difference
fall out.
between.
Yeah, the tail one.
I don't know.
No, it's not cheap, it's just not.
But I will say
That's the way it is.
because they did a whole.
South Dakota,
I am so embarrassed in this township. It is not okay anymore. It is not okay. It isn't okay.
Oh, they.
Yep, nobody's taking them away. Nobody said we're taking them
Well,
away.
they tried over things, so I don't know.
I can't worry about that. I worry about meeting the 211 men and women that work
If
for
we
the
were
sheriff.
to hire our government 3 months away.
You have something, ma'am?
Yeah, I said we worry too about you. I know you can say to the guys from home, I'm a great, honest, integrity-filled person. But here's the thing, yes, the ACLU, American, against these, and I wonder why. It could go over protest, even though you when they did a whole study on April 28th on flock, they have 14 cases of stalking from police and other things that are happening. I'm not saying all, but I'm saying.
So you have 14 cases, you know how many flock cameras are in the country?
I don't know.
How many
This
cases
is
would there
here.
be with zero flock cameras?
Hold on a minute.
This is here. Why
Hold on a
would
minute.
you 14? Why would
It
you
is
switch?
not a
No,
debate, let it
we
talk.
need to focus on this, because there is no reason to be like, well, 14 cases, 14 cases. You said, well, first you said, they're already here, you got no say.
I never said that.
You did too. You said that we have absolutely no say. You were there asking permission to put it on this and this.
No.
But there was no, if that's the case, then I wonder how we can repeal and take back those blocks and those drones. Because they have been used. They are used for profiling people. And one of them, another case, let's talk ICE. Again, you said proudly that you had 89 people in your detention center. I don't know
Probably,
anything about
you asked me
that.
a question, I answered
No,
with facts.
again, so they're over there, and you are pro this, and there are some things going on that deals with profile. Will you do it? But that's an open-ended.
Anybody in this room, you can find that a Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee violated any of those rules that you just said, you bring it to me.
Do we get $1 million budget and cameras and drones to follow you?
Hold on a minute.
That's an unfair question. You're using drones to spy on us, and you're saying if we can solve the crime that you guys criminals.
You talk about information, okay? I have access to more information than that drone will ever give us.
Then why do you need it?
And we just had a lien audit by the state of Michigan and received a superior rating because we did not violate the rules and regulations. There are barriers in place. I'm not saying it can't happen. But what we are doing is we are putting those guardrails in place to ensure that these things don't happen.
I just got a question. With these devices, flock and drones, what would Hitler do?
Yeah.
What would he do? If he had that under his thing, no matter how much credit there is given.
I mean, I don't know, I looked at, we live in Monroe County, Michigan. Hitler probably wouldn't have had this conversation.
Yeah.
And wouldn't have had this one. Yes, ma'am. Hold on, yes, ma'am. Sure. Sure. What liabilities or situations do we face by utilizing this technology? Remember I asked you the first question about phone? There was nobody here that said they didn't carry a phone. He said to me, Sheriff, you have more chance of an intrusion in that device in your hand than you do in the drone and the phone. So, and if you don't believe me,
No, I'm not saying that.
if you don't believe me,
I'm saying.
go home tonight and talk in your living room about something. Open up your phone and see if it doesn't say, oh, you want to buy furniture, lazy boy. So my point being is,
That's an AI receptive battery algorithm.
okay, yes ma'am, she's got the floor. Yes, ma'am. Did you want me to? I am not, ma'am. IT director.
I understand that.
Say what you have to say. now that makes me proud. Because we're transparent.
Do you work with ICE as a department?
Absolutely.
Okay. That's enough then.
Yes, we would have had some information.
Let her talk, I'm sorry.
No, okay. We're not, this is getting out of control. Okay, we're gonna reel this back. If you have questions, then I'm more than happy to answer. Yes, ma'am.
Are you getting what you're okay with that?
Hey, excuse me. Ma'am, in the green shirt, go ahead.
Sorry. I just have a question. How many captains / pilots are going to operate the drones?
We have one captain, me,
I'm sorry, I don't know the.
yeah, sure, and I understand that, yeah, so I'm the only captain, on the road patrol side, Uniform Services Division, and then we have 5 total pilots at this time.
So your 5 pilots are all police officers, correct, for the Monroe County?
Correct.
Okay, so vacation time, I'm just throwing it out there. Do you have a scheduled vacation time where you don't allow 3 officers off at the same week, and then you have 2 officers that will cover? I'm just wondering if you're gonna have enough coverage, if somebody has to go out on medical, and how are these officers, men or women, how are they appointed pilots?
So, to start this pilot out, we're not gonna have 24-hour coverage at a workstation. We're gonna have one dedicated deputy working his or her 84-hour pay period. Outside of that, we'll have on-call, right? So whether you're working, we have a lieutenant who's a pilot that generally stays at his desk, check the reports and stuff like that, and he works midnights. If the drone is needed then, obviously he'll just watch that from his computer and go from that. Other than that, we can send one of our licensed pilots home with a laptop. He or she can then just log on from there and fly the drone. So we won't have 24-hour at a workstation coverage to start. If this proves
Do you appoint those as captain to?
so we open that up for letters of interest, right?
I just didn't know, I was
yeah.
kind of wondering how they got appointed or.
A letter of interest, we bring in, obviously we look at their whole work history. They have to study through the.
At the end of the day, I make the final decision based on their qualifications, their training, and testing.
That's what I didn't know, I mean, how, if you just, I didn't know,
Yeah.
so thank you.
You're welcome. You can self-study. I self-study myself. There's plenty of books and online study to be able to study for that. They also offer in-person or other online study courses. The last one we did, I believe it was $150 for a 2-day course that they then get the information and then take the FAA test for a Part 107 pilot.
And our risk management organization also offers the training. At no cost. Anybody else over here?
Just real quick.
I'm sorry, 1 minute. This man has a question. Go ahead.
Just real quick, when you figure out where the location's gonna be in Frenchtown, will you let everybody know?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
And real quick on, be real quick with this. Security, researchers have identified vulnerabilities in flock hardware. More than 60 flock surveillance cameras were previously found exposed on open internet, allowing access to live feeds and archive footage. What guarantees is
Materials in place to do the very best we can. And if we do have a breach, I'll be the first to report it. If your flock is a license plate reader, your license plate is not protected. It's public information.
They do have audio, correct?
What does? No, flock is not. No such thing.
Okay, whoa, time out. Good. Okay. I wasn't gonna mention this. On March 29th, there were automatic gunfire supposedly in Frenchtown. I had 3 state cops fly over 100 miles an hour down Pointe-à-Peau Road. One of them stopped at my house and asked me, "Did you hear gunfire?" I said, "Absolutely, I did, down the street at the state property." She says, "Does this happen often?" I said, "We live in a rural community, they're shooting every day." But she told me that it was picked up on audio from SWAT. what she told me, and that, I'm just telling you what she told
We
me.
do not have any kind of shot spotter type of technology, the drones don't have
So
any
why,
kind of.
I guess I'm just asking, why did the state police turn around and say, where did they get that from?
I can't tell you, but.
Okay,
When I say data, the schematics related to the flocks that we use in Monroe County, and none of them have the shot.
okay, I'm just asking because she did,
Well, no, but I
she
appreciate
personally
it.
told when she stopped.
The drone, the flock that we have here do not have shot spotter.
Okay.
They do not. And again, as I told you, we have a great job in the first report. There's no problem.
It just, you know, if it was there, you'd have people responding to gunshots every day in Monroe County. And you guys would
That,
be-
100%. I don't disagree with you.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
So you guys, you said you had to have anyone to win the rank captain. So what are the ranks with?
The rank of captain is what? Yep.
Alright.
So we'll go over here. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't sure whether that we going to do, so is there going to be an auditing process and audited?
Yes, ma'am. To answer your question,
Yeah, so what would be the process?
so, again, my vision of this is, remember I talked about response to resistance and vehicle pursuits, we do meaningful review, we're gonna do meaningful review on this. This is a pilot program. We wanna look at every aspect of this, good, bad, there's been a lot of information that's been brought up here today. We wanna look and see, is this information being hacked? Did it get hacked? We wanna see what the outcome, did the aircraft fly like it was supposed to? Did it come back to the base station like it was supposed to? We are gonna look at every aspect that we can think of during this process and put them barriers in place and determine if this is a valuable program to move forward.
And that is another question, because, and I'm assuming that you're gonna have this program in place. Yeah, it's a trial program, but you want to have some kind of proof before you start doing this that it's actually gonna have good outcomes. So have you, is there any research available that are like non-flock or like corporations like that, or unrelated to those corporations that you evaluated or available that show that these types of programs actually improve outcomes?
Well, I don't wanna get into I don't wanna look at programs, like, I don't wanna look at whether it's a brink or whether it's flock. What I wanna look at is the data, at the missions that the aircraft flew. What were the outcomes and how valuable was it?
So,
We looked at, as I said, we looked at Oakland County. We looked at Dearborn, we looked at Downrivers, we looked at Toledo. And I can tell you, just if I say something, Catherine, that's incorrect, the information that was fed back to me was a significant, it was a great value opportunity and program for public safety.
is that data, would you really need that data available to the public?
We can still, go ahead.
If you don't mind. Skydio is the biggest US-based manufacturer. They're huge in the law enforcement DFR program. Obviously, it's gonna be based on all of their. So if you wanna look into Skydio, they would be the biggest vendor and they have the most information outside of flocks.
And, will you make your policy, when you kind of, that is a policy that be available to the public to review?
If that's something that the public wants to look at, yeah. If there's, as long as there's something that's not gonna challenge the credibility of the program. Share the layout of our jail with the public, right? We just can't. And as long as there's nothing in that policy that jeopardizes the program, the aircraft, or the people running it, I'm more than happy to share it. There's nothing to hide. That's what we're having this for.
Well, you already made a decision before we had this, correct?
Pilot? Yeah, I did. I held coffee hours around the county frequently. I've held them for a year. And that's been the conversation. What's that?
Advertise them?
Yes, I did specifically say, well, this is gonna be one to talk about BFR. I can tell you when I was in Petersburg last week, I mentioned BFR, and there was a number of people there, and they said, we put one out here in Summerfield Township. Please, we want one here. And I said, hey, we're having a town hall meeting. Come on down and listen to all the facts in Frenchtown on Wednesday.
I have a question about the cost. What kind of liability protection will be in place?
That's a great question. So we're insured, the county of Monroe is insured by MMRMA, it's Michigan Municipal liability, municipal liability insurance carrier in the state of Michigan. I think they're the largest in the country. They only insure Michigan. We have run our entire program for this type of program through them, and they look at it and see, there's liability with everything, but the mechanisms, the guardrails that were put in place, they support it. They support our drone right now. They've approved, they insure all of our drones right now. They insure our SWAT team, they insure every piece of equipment, vehicle, and everything we have.
And that includes, protection if you are sued by somebody who's hurt by a drone.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They are our risk management providers.
And how much is that bill going up with this program?
Nothing to put, it's based on our total county. I will tell you, it was $90,000 a year to insure a helicopter.
And how much is currently being spent on the SWAT program? Are they based on that?
Well, we have Bedford Township pays for flock. Now, we're talking two different things. We're talking LPRs and we're talking drones. So right now, you have Bedford Township has 4. Monroe Township has 4. Frenchtown 12. I think we're online with 12, I think. And then the county of Monroe has added 20 additional flock cameras at $60,000. At $60,000. No.
Per year or per month?
No.
Because it's a monthly recurring fee.
No, there's no monthly recurring fee. Each camera, you kind of think about, is $3,000. So
Okay. Your website reports differently then.
I can't help with their website reports. I mean, you're welcome to FOIA the invoice.
Are they on main routes? Because I mean, I didn't look at it after that, they must be, I live in the corner, they must be four of them. Are they just on like 60 or farther, or where are they?
You got one. There's one here. You got 4 of them here at Dixie and 75. They're at various locations. So they're nothing secret about it. Where they're at, the locations. So, I mean, they're all over the county. Flock.
Yeah, where do you put all this information on it?
Well, when we go to the various township meetings, and when they, like Frenchtown Township says, we want flock cameras, okay, where do you want them? This is where we've done. I have to say you're going to have to go back to their minutes, because they voted to pay for it. We're more than happy to make it 20 in the county. 20 in the county is starting right there. Pardon me?
Did you just say Frenchtown approached you?
No, I said Frenchtown.
Oh, I thought you said that they wanted the plot, they approached you.
No, it's no different than every township. I go around and say, this is what's occurring in your community. These are resources that are available. No different than the speed signs that Frenchtown Township purchased. I go in, they said, we're having problems with A, B, and C. I give them opportunities to address that problem. We know that, we personally know the value in flock, and we approached Frenchtown and said, hey, would you be interested in flock cameras in your community? They agreed to that.
So Frenchtown has to prove the cameras, they don't have to prove the drone.
Because they pay for the cameras, the drones are the sheriff's office. That's absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Have you, your risk assessment, tap anyone in the department, do you guys look into how many communities around the state have actually gotten rid of their flock arenas with both cameras and drones?
No.
If that's something that you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we're gonna come over.
Maybe a community issue of feeling that the local community is circumvented.
Pardon me?
Maybe an issue of local community feeling that their government is circumvented by flock cameras.
All right, well, thank you for that piece of information. That's what I said. We want the information that'll help us. We appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I was just gonna correct some since we're back here, and it sounds like we have 40 flock cameras in the.
Actually, if you count Dundee and Milan, whenever they go out live, it's 64.
Okay, well, if they're $3,000 each, 3 times 6 is 18 or 0.
Okay, ma'am, if you, right, we.
Okay, good. If it's $3,000 each, and there's 40 cameras.
I didn't say there was 40 cameras.
Well, you said there was 1 in Monroe County, 12 in Frenchtown.
No, ma'am, I said, who's paying for these? Who's paying for these? Bedford Township was paying for theirs, and Monroe Township was paying for theirs. And then, let me finish, and the city of Monroe is paying for theirs. But when the entire system is live, there's 64.
Well, the conversation's still flop, though. It's flop. Flop isn't the problem.
Okay.
That's what we're upset about.
Okay. Anything else from over here? All right, we go over here. Ma'am, I know you started out with some questions. Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any questions? What are you talking about?
Yes, ma'am, you.
These things are run by internet, correct?
Can you talk a little?
She's asked if they were being run by internet.
Okay, well, that was just part of my thing. So if the drones are run by internet and they're internet controlled, so what's to stop someone from interfering with a DNS attack, denial of service?
It's always a possibility, right? These
So
are
how do you handle
sieges,
that?
sieges compliant as far as being locked down with encryption and obviously logging credentials. Is a, you know, cyber attacks can happen for the federal government and they spend billions of dollars.
So they're subject to that?
Absolutely.
Okay. The other thing I had, which most of the other people answered some of these things, because I had a long list. The data you collect from that, how is it shared and with whom?
The video itself?
Anything, any data, any one stick of 1 bit, zeros and ones, you collect, you will collect it. How is that shared and with whom?
So there's obviously the flight data, right?
Okay.
Date, time, location, coordinates, where we're flying to, where we're coming from, video. There's no audio, no audio whatsoever. The video is stored on flock servers for 30 days. If it's something criminal in nature that we require for evidence,
You have to
we
request
would,
a backup?
no, we would just be able to download that into our evidence. So digital, we have a digital evidence locker.
Okay.
It would go into there for whatever our retention period is, depending on misdemeanor, felony, stuff like that.
And who has access to that?
Just law enforcement.
Just law enforcement?
Correct.
So that leads to, I know somebody kind of alluded, I think it was the young lady in white there, about 14th Amendment, that protect us of misuse of the vehicle tracking.
Camera or the drone, but there's no vehicle tracking. Because the pilot themselves say, hey, there's a suspect vehicle, and I'm now going to follow them until I can get deputies in.
So how do you protect any of your officers? Because people are human and they can do bad things regardless of which side you're on.
Absolutely.
Whether you're the criminal or whether you guys are going after the criminals. What if one of your guys or ladies turns out that they're gonna just suddenly, they got upset with their boyfriend, parent, whatever, or somebody that they hated, and they suddenly go rogue? How do you handle that situation?
Obviously, you're never going to get rid of the human factor.
That-
Right? We're all humans.
I get that.
Once
How
we
do you handle it?
there's going to be an audit, right? Random audits of the flights to make sure if we find anything in violation of our policies, it's going to be dealt with an internal investigation.
Okay.
If there was a complaint from a citizen, hey, my boyfriend's doing this, my girlfriend is doing this, we would take that seriously. We investigate it through the meaningful review, through an internal investigation.
Yeah, well, internal investigations, I don't trust those. Do you have an outside audit that helps you with that?
No.
No, well, you should. The last, and then I'll let somebody else go. What's your expectation in all of your review that you went around and did to the other police entities? Did you run the numbers to compare what you're currently getting with just what's, you guys on the street? But what is your, okay, let me rephrase it then. What is your improvement rate?
The greatest improvement is going to be the response time.
Response time.
Absolutely.
And what has other police entities in other areas told you the increase was?
An 86% increase or reduction in response time to get that first drone on the scene to be able to provide that information. Is it a body right away? Absolutely not.
Okay.
But they're getting that information within 90 seconds to those responding officers to then give them better information to capture whatever they're looking for.
I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, you came up with something else, we're more than happy.
Okay.
Anybody else?
One, I agree with everybody else, I think it's an infringement
For whatever reason, every time I mention that, everybody's like, well, don't do something legal. That's not the point. The
Well,
point
you haven't
is-
heard that said here tonight.
No,
value
not tonight,
them.
not tonight, no, and I appreciate that. So that's first and foremost. I have seen it in action on my, chasing somebody on my property. It is kind of loud and obnoxious in a buzzing kind of way. Not a big fan, but if they would have caught the person that stole the Jeeps, as far as the missing children, again, I don't know. There doesn't, Monroe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think a lot of us have lived around the area enough to know back in the day in Monroe didn't exactly always have the greatest reputation. So a lot of people don't trust law enforcement. I don't know, maybe it's just me that say that. But if you can't hold your own accountable when you're working with them, why are we supposed to trust that when you have eyes in the sky, you're gonna do the right thing? And if not, somebody's gonna call you out on it. How are we supposed to, do you have a checks and balance to where if he's running the machine and somebody says, hey, you know what, we think something might be wrong. You know, he's kinda in the sky a long time and a little out of the way where he's supposed to be. Who's double checking?
We have many layers of evaluation.
Okay.
Pilot's a deputy flying it, and it gets reviewed by the sergeant, gets reviewed by the lieutenant, gets reviewed by the captain.
Outside of their department.
Here, putting as many guardrails in place to ensure my policies, and if they do, then it's our job in the administration to hold them accountable.
Okay, and then, another thing that I've been on is with the birds of prey, the eagles, the hawks, red-tailed hawks, and so, anything that has migratory patterns within that dynamic, and they were saying about staying away from like the wetland areas and protected areas and stuff.
And like I said, we're not just randomly flying this. Obviously, if we have, I'm not gonna tell you we're not gonna fly around swamplands or something, right? Because if we have something that takes us there.
It's a public safety tool. It's a public safety tool.
I mean, I still don't, but I mean.
And that's okay, there's people in the room tonight, but we didn't expect everybody to leave here and say, well, Sheriff, we're all in agreement.
Well,
We
because
don't
the
expect
state of
that.
the world
We
right
come
now.
here today to hear your feedback, as I've heard a number of comments made tonight that have me making note. This is, man, this is good. These are things that we need to put in to bolster our guardrails.
All right.
So that's what we wanted public input tonight. That's what we asked for.
Well, and I
We're not
think-
upset with what anybody said here tonight.
I think, well, speaking for myself, I can't speak for anybody else, but the reason I come out, I wanna see if it's like another dog and pony show. In the sense that you see what you see on TV or whatever. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I do watch some. I do YouTube videos more. But, you know, you see all that stuff going on and it, A leads to B leads to C.
I don't.
And by doing it kinda can lead there real quick.
Anything can happen with anything.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
I'm not here to tell you it can't. Okay, what we're gonna
Absolutely.
do is we're gonna mitigate our exposure to problems the very best that I can.
Okay.
And we can. That's why I didn't make this decision in a silo. We have a whole team that is
Right.
looking at this, from IT to rank and file to other agencies.
Now, are we gonna be privy to see the rules that are set forth?
That's what the
for-
lady asked over there. As soon as we get these policies, I have no problem as long as it doesn't
But we have to
jeopardize
FOIA
the integrity. No,
Oh,
we'll put it
no?
out on our website. We'll put a press
Oh,
release out.
okay.
We'll put a press release out and say, hey, our policies, our
Monroe
procedures
County
are out there. He's here. He'll put it out there. He'll tell you. So, all right. Anything from this group? Yes, sir.
Is the presentation the officer put on here tonight going to be available online?
I don't see a reason why we can't put it out there. Absolutely.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I'll
Because
see if
a lot
we.
of people couldn't be here.
No, I understand that. What I think what we'll do is, we'll look and get with our IT director and see if we can put that out on the county website. And we'll do a press, I don't want to say a press release because people in northern Monroe County, or north of Monroe County probably don't care, but we'll put out something. I'm sure the reporters are more than happy to help us with that and get that word out that, hey, it's out there. And we'll see if we can make that happen this week. I don't want to promise, but I'll see if we can make that happen with our IT director. Again, I trust his guidance on that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
If I may, so will these these drones be used to collaborate with like federal agencies if they are doing work in Monroe County specifically?
I want to, this is a drone first responder. So if somebody calls and says there's a situation going on at Sturgeon Telegraph, we're going to launch that drone. We're not going to say, is it a federal agency? And I'm just going to use the example. Somebody calls in and says, there's somebody fighting with somebody at Sturgeon Telegraph. We're going to launch this drone. Okay, if you're asking if a federal agency is going to call us and say, Sheriff, can we use your drone to do something? That's going to be a case-by-case basis. I don't, again, I have to look at things from 50,000 feet, if you will.
Understand.
And I don't want to sit here and tell you today that if ICE agents come in and arrest somebody at Sturgeon Telegraph and we get a report that there's an altercation, that we're not going to respect. I don't want to leave you with that.
No, I understand. I guess just to voice concern. Any possibility, any teensy possibility that federal agencies come in and say, hey, we are doing this program where we are going to do X, Y, and Z. We need your technology in order to aid us in this. What is stopping Monroe County from doing that if they don't want to? Or does Monroe County have to go along with the federal government and their missions? Because right now, we know that there's a lot of people in Monroe County facilities that were detained by ICE. Are these drones going to be going around aiding ICE to find illegal immigrants, profiling community members, and causing all sorts of mayhem? That's my main question.
I'm going to tell you that as I stand here today, I don't ever see that. But I don't want to say never, because
ICE detaining people in our community?
They already are.
That's what I'm saying.
They're here, and all we do is get a call. We don't get a call when they're coming in. Okay, myself and the Director of Public Safety in the City of Monroe we have a good working relationship in respect to the continuity of information. We've asked them, if you're coming into our community and you arrest somebody, please let us know when you're done so that we can answer if the public has questions. They don't have to call us up and tell us they're doing anything.
We can detain them in our facilities and make money. Now, but next year it could be another agency.
Well, I guess, I mean,
is our county sheriff's department going to collaborate with federal government using these technologies if the federal government is overstepping?
We are not going to use any of our resources to violate somebody's constitutional rights. You use the word overstepping. If you're referring to constitutional rights, we are not. But if any law enforcement agency...
If you'll internally investigate it if you do?
If our men do?
Yeah. If
Absolutely.
you do violate our rights, you'll internally
If we violate your rights, we'll be more than happy to conduct an investigation. And if it requires a third party from outside, we will do that too. We had an unfortunate situation occur in this county at 11:16 a.m. Sunday morning. A third-party agency is investigating that matter. If that doesn't show you transparency, I don't know what does. Okay, but I can tell you that if a murderer comes into this community, I don't care who's looking for him, and he's in this or she's in this community, I will deploy every resource I have to take them into custody to prevent another tragedy in this community. That's my oath of office to do that. And I will not put barriers on the resources I use.
Even if it would harm the rest of the community in that pursuit.
As I just said, we are not going to do anything to put more residents in harm's way, but if we have somebody in this community that has committed a murder, I am going to use...
I have the utmost confidence in you.
Thank you. Anybody else here? Yes, sir.
So I had a handful of questions. So I guess my first question is when it comes to so I used to hold a cart when I was 7 license, so I understand the law pretty closely. Essentially, someone has to be held responsible. Will be held accountable when the drone is in automation use. So, like, I guess it's responsibility
That pilot is responsible from the time of launch to the time of landing. Whether they fly in one drone or whether we get a waiver for multiple drones, that pilot is responsible for everything.
Okay, will they be held accountable to the full FAA? Is still a very new company. Why them? They just got into the drone industry. Why not DJI? You guys already currently use them. They have solutions out there that are far more cheaper and better.
We are actually using DJI drones to fly with this DFR program. Flock is simply the software that we're using behind. The hardware is DJI, Flock is the software.
Okay, cool. And then, I guess, what data would Flock be collecting? Because all the, I guess, data is going to be touched by Flock's servers. So essentially, what audits or checks and balances are in place to ensure that they're not collecting unnecessary data?
All of their software that we're using is CJIS compliant, right?
Okay.
Criminal Justice Information Systems compliant. So it's all FBI regulated and government regulated as far as encryption, storage, and access.
Okay, and I'm an active system admin right now, so with IT stuff, I'm pretty knowledgeable as well. I heard you state that there's going to be guidelines put in place for cybersecurity and stuff like that. What type of guidelines are going to be put in place? Are they going to be utilizing passkeys, biometrics? Is it open to the web? Or are they going to have to access it via a VPN for an internal network?
I can promise you you're above either one of our
Either one of
skill
us.
sets.
That's why that's information that we rely on our IT director to make sure they don't take us, we don't go down a path that exposes
Well,
us.
they'd have to do that before they could do the denial of service, they'd have to jump into the.
We trust the people with that skill set, which is our IT director, to guide us on that.
And then my last, and the family in the video, how is that benefiting them? You said that they didn't even know that that person was back.
That was just a comment.
Okay,
That this guy was in their backyard with the firearm. No, just that he was in their backyard with the firearm, just had assaulted somebody, and they had no clue that was there. And without that drone, law enforcement would have known they were there either.
Okay, awesome.
All right?
Thank you.
All right, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have also some questions. Keep in mind I have an extra presentation. I couldn't hear earlier, so just tell me if it's a waste of time.
Nothing's a waste of time. That's why we're here for you.
So I understand that you're here answering questions, but you already decided on the pilot, correct? So the pilot is happening.
We're in the infancy stages of the pilot. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, but the pilot does have a contract.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. Okay, are you familiar with the contract?
Yes, I am.
You are with the details of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, is your IT director here tonight?
No.
Does your IT director have a department?
Yes, he's the director of the IT department.
Okay, so anything that is IT related, you can't answer. Are you planning to have another question and answer session? Since most of this is above your pay grade, as you put it, and it relates to.
No, the IT stuff is.
Yeah,
The IT
which is a lot of this stuff. I mean, I'm not even being, it just is. So it makes sense to have the person.
After I am able to evaluate all the information that was conveyed here, I'll make a decision.
I don't want to cut
No,
the
go ahead.
sheriff's off, but if you have specific questions that you would like answers, I can provide those to me, and I can get with the IT director and see if we can't get
I
those.
think it would be better in public, but, I mean, I'd be happy to put together a list of questions about it.
Yeah.
You mentioned other agencies help make the decision about the pilot. What other agencies?
Our county IT department, the Monroe City Public Safety was involved in the conversation.
Okay, no other local or state?
Well, the outside agencies, the ones that we had evaluated, right? So we've gone to Taylor Police Department, Dearborn Police Department, City of Toledo, and I feel like there was one more I'm missing. Oakland County.
Any of those branches you evaluated, did any of them actually utilize Flock, or did they utilize a different brand?
The Toledo Police Department's using Flock. Southfield is in the early stages of using Flock. Oakland County is also going to Flock.
Okay.
Have you heard the name Peter Thiel?
I don't think so.
And you weren't familiar with Millington?
No.
Okay. And then, are you familiar with the 404 media? No. Okay. Just running through some things. So, okay, so, and then people assigned to the plane.
other than getting information from CAD, the 911 call, plugging in coordinates, the call type, dispatch puts in there, so that's all human
So there's
interaction.
humans all throughout it.
Correct.
Okay, you know it's powered by AI software and speed, right?
What's that?
The software itself is AI run and powered, that is.
In what mode, or what fashion, I should say?
Well, the programming is artificial intelligence itself,
Okay.
which is 10 to 20 times faster than normal software and process. It's the whole reason why we have surveillance state hyperscale data centers coming into our state. But anyways, I won't. It's probably like but it's true. There's also like serious gaps with AI quality. But anyway, I'm gonna get off topic, so I'm not gonna do that. Okay. So that's cool. So you mentioned the city of Milan paying for theirs. Does the city of Milan have a part in this?
That, the city of Maryland just has the license plate readers, not the
The
drone.
flock.
Right, I know, but do they have more? Because the way you said it, it kind of sounded like they're paying for theirs, blah, blah, blah. Their flat, you know?
Ma'am, you've lost me on your question.
You mentioned the city of Milan as one of a few examples of local municipalities that are using FLOC and paying
Flock
for it.
license
And
plate
that's
readers.
kind of what you-
Flock license plate readers, yes ma'am.
Right, so they didn't like participate in the drone thing, and I just didn't know that.
Correct.
They share their data with, there's a website that you can track how police use FLOC. Are you aware of that website? Do you know about its existence?
100%. Because anybody that wants to see our flock license plate readers, not drones, we have to approve the access. Yes ma'am. All
Okay,
across
so
the
you
country.
already published the whole, the data, the type, the date, the officer.
What do you mean by
that
publish?
level?
What do you mean by publish?
Okay, so you're actually probably not aware of what I'm talking about.
Well, there are several websites obviously related to flock and anything.
But this isn't put out by FLOC, trust me. So this is something that the city of Milan makes available, as do many police departments around the country, because they're not trying to hide how they're using it. But not a lot of them also do that. So I would definitely send you the website I'm talking about, so you can be aware of the choices that you may not have been totally educated by, from FLOC.
Thank you.
Is anyone from or connected to FLOC present in this meeting? Anyone? No one is here from FLOC that you know of? No? Not connected to FLOC, not necessarily FLOC, but part of the deal and the reason why they're here. I'm just asking, okay? I've been to a lot of public meetings for a lot of reasons lately, and there's a really good reason why I'm asking. Are you aware that FLOC has, as recently as late April, just a week or two ago, lied about their access that they give to federal departments, and that includes the FBI? And then they found out in Wisconsin, and the police revoked access to their contract.
No, it's not.
Okay, that would be a 404 media, plus other, that's a national reputable media organization that's investigative journalism. So I see you, like I see your expression, but there are several very real public safety concerns that you may not, you definitely aren't aware of.
Hold on a
You're
minute.
not
Hold on a
familiar.
minute. Maybe I missed it. What was your background in public safety?
Can I answer your question when I'm done with mine? Because I do have the background in public safety, and I'd be happy to tell you my expertise.
Educate me.
After I'm done. I'm not done. I'm speaking. Can you wait? Okay, I'm almost done. Okay. So, Peter Thiel, you did not know. Your liability insurer is also Tokyo Marine.
No, our insurance, our
What
liability.
is it called?
Isn't that, it's MMRMA.
Which stands for?
Michigan Municipal Risk Management Association.
Which is owned by?
It's owned by its stakeholders, which is every community that is involved in it.
Okay. We'll have to differ on that,
But no, we won't have to differ. I'm very well versed in it, being I sit on a couple committees, and the CFO of Monroe County is the chairman of the board of MMRMA.
But Tokyo Marine.
I'm 100% sure as I stand in front of you today. There's only one subsidiary part. They're out of Livonia.
So, okay, good. So I could be wrong, and thank you. I feel like you might be right.
No, I will tell you I'm 100% correct.
Okay. Well, it sounded familiar, and I've spent a lot of time learning about Tokyo Marine and their 26-ish subsidiaries.
And what they do is they do a lot of home foreclosures and things of that nature, civil cases. So I'm well aware of that.
Well, they also do risk and liability insurance. are you familiar with the phrase heat map?
Yep.
Good, okay. Is that a right?
It's a very broad phrase. It can involve a number of
It
different
connects to heat
perspectives.
map.
Pardon me?
Flock. It connects to flock and heat map. Not, no? Okay, I'm just checking, okay? I'm not trying to offend you. Pattern of life is, so flock, again, on record, you can contact other municipalities and find out if this is true, has denied creating a behavioral pattern of life with their data, and then flock. So they do use a heat map in ways they describe accurately, but they actually do a lot more, and they have been deceptive in public records. There's a big reason why municipalities all over the country are pulling out. It's because municipalities have listened to flocks. This gets to my last question. It's because municipalities have listened to flocks sales presentations and not done opposition research, essentially, on what might else be good to know. So I'm saying, what the last question I have is, what about flock? What concerns, what alternatives, what questions did you ask? What was your, did you do a bid? I mean, how did
you decide on flock?
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to
Just be simple. Simple sometimes is best.
This product or platform for free.
Wait, but then you have to pay for it, right? So it's like a.
If we continue.
Right, exactly.
And that would be the only criterion to select them over any other alternative.
No, not at all.
What questions then do you ask or consider you bring up to vet them out before deciding to move forward with the contract?
So Flock's allowing, they use the DJI drones, right? I currently fly DJI drones. They're the best around right now, right? For the price, there's no comparison. We fly DJI drones. We checked with Skydio. We checked with Brink. We checked with another company I can't think of off the top of my head. For the price, the quality of the software and the hardware, plus obviously the 1 year a free trial, there's no other option.
But I asked what questions and concerns you bring up to them, not just what other alternatives you evaluate. Can you answer that question, please?
I didn't get you, I'm sorry.
He said what concerns and questions, how did you choose them? What made you feel safe about it? What were your concerns and questions that you asked them?
The biggest concern is hardware, right? Without good hardware, this whole program doesn't work, right? Software on top of that. We're a Flock subscriber as it is, right? We've been happy with the results that we've seen from their software. I can't tell you, I don't have the background in the investigation of things that can go wrong, things that have gone wrong, things that use, right? I can't tell you that.
So if that's the case, what made you think that you were qualified to make that decision in that moment to go forward with this pilot program?
Well, that's why we have a whole team, right? From IT to multiple agencies, and a whole group making that determination.
This is the meeting where you moved the public comment to the end, right? Because after you decided, why did you do that?
This is an informational meeting for everyone.
Not this, the meeting where you decided on the pilot.
I'm sorry?
The meeting where you voted to do this pilot, but the public comment happened.
There was no vote.
Wasn't that?
There was no vote. There was no vote.
We didn't get a vote in it.
There's no vote.
That's what I mean.
It's no difference. Because as a sheriff, I have certain responsibilities that I have to follow. Okay? We brought this because we've listened to the public on various use cases in different elements. What's the good, what's the bad? We brought this because there were some folks that were at the every day that don't go to the public for their input. Okay, we are the 14th biggest county in the state of Michigan.
And what happens when police robots come? Because this is what we're building up to.
I'll retire.
I'm hoping that I'm done. Okay?
You're hoping? Yeah. That's great. I'm not. I don't want someone without a human brain to decide.
Now, we can what if this to death. Okay? We can what if this to death. And nobody here disagrees that officers can't go rogue, that equipment can't fail. Okay? We drive. I had consulted with the expert. Okay, I'm not an expert in everything.
Expert singular?
Okay, expert.
Who?
You know, yeah, I mean, if you have a question and you're willing to listen to my answer and accept it, then that's
Yeah, just
okay.
you're not really equipped to answer the question about that.
Back there.
I was just curious, I've noticed that some districts have their flock agreement or flock contract redacted to the public, general public. Is each part of the flock agreement, LAC, in particular, and Jerome, is any of that redacted from us?
We haven't had a secret request to look at it. So I don't want to comment until we run it through our
I feel like that's something that we should know, right? Like if any of this redacted.
because if it's a 7-page document, I can't tell you everything that's in there for every word of what we need under redacted protocol. Sure it is. Sure it is. It's very public record.
What's that?
Yeah, you can FOIA anything the government has.
I think that solves the question.
And what have had no issues with our customers.
Yes. I did not get it. No, the captain. I don't know if he did, but I am. I can't run county sheriff by the way, do we take notice of what's going on out there? Absolutely. Absolutely. But they didn't have something in Oakland County, I never around from that. So, we take notice of what's going on across the country. One lady mentioned the armed and drones, help with bullets. Unfortunately, I didn't see that. We try to stay grounded, we try to stay attention. Are you heard about it? On the IT stuff, yes.
I co-found a research organization. I have a degree in research. That's where my questions come from and where my information comes from. So when I try to give you information, that's where it comes from. Is there any information that you do?
I take everything seriously, that's why I'm here. The gentleman mentioned here. Number of things that are brought up that I take seriously. Just because I may not have the knowledge of that particular news media or something of that nature, doesn't mean I don't take it seriously. It just means I'm being honest with you that I'm not aware of that particular thing.
So if somebody is setting up this information, you will take that into account.
I would give it to the people that can understand it and dissect it and say, hey, is this something we need to be concerned about? Absolutely. That's the whole reason for this dialogue was to bring to us what other areas do we need to look at and what's true and what's possible. Absolutely. Yeah.
It was hard to tell from the map in the presentation, how far over Lake Erie can the drones actually fly? How much of the 3.5 mile radius is over Erie?
And we don't have our final location for Frenchtown Township.
Okay.
So obviously, 3.5 miles from wherever that base station is. I 100% want to get at least over the state park area, because we have a lot of water rights over there. Right, so that's going to be a huge thing to be able to get on scene quick. But obviously, I don't want it so far east that 2.5 miles are out over the water, and we only have, 1 mile to the west.
And this is why we said this is pilot, right? We may find that where we put this isn't suitable for our maximum engagement.
Sure. And then you gave a bunch of examples of how they were used effectively. Were there any examples of like mishaps with flock?
None that I'm aware of. It was mentioned the Taylor drone crashing. I'm aware of that. And I tell you one way or the other whether block software is like any of their current ones crashed. As far as it not being useful, there's going to be plenty of calls that we send us on, either looking for people or looking for stolen vehicles, where we're not going to find what we're looking for. There is no doubt in my mind. However, you know, as we work through the process, the pilots will learn what works best. The administration will learn what works best, and hopefully we'll fine tune it and take it the best we can make it.
Have you been trained on the software that uses the drones? I assume probably.
The drones itself, yes,
Yeah,
they're flying.
like how they're going to be used, you know how to
Part of the pilot, we haven't been trained on their actual software. The flying aspect is not a problem, but
yeah.
But we don't have everything put together yet as far as the CAD, the 911, and everything else, and their actual flight software. We'll get trained for that once we get the base stations put into place.
Okay. Do you know if you can program it, or you like put in variables as you send it out, and then it goes and looks for a license plate, or it looks for certain things that data, like you plug data in, and then it goes to look for that in an area?
No. The only thing it'll do automatically respond to GPS coordinates. It doesn't.
So it's not to a location that you.
Correct. And then from there, it's on the pilot to find whatever they're looking for.
Okay. So out of curiosity, DJI's like suite already covers all of those tools minus block. Why not, once again, why not just use DJI drop block and then be good? Because like they have tracking features in DJI drones.
Yeah, the tracking is more, in my experience, more deployed. Right? You're much better off just flying instead of clicking on a car and watch it and then, okay, now I can follow it with the camera.
But if they can't automate like locating license plates or stuff like that, then what is the purpose of block being involved with the operation of the drone?
The integration with the CAD, the block 911, the LPR system, it's that complete interaction and capabilities that make it beneficial.
I see. Do you guys fall under the same regulations as regular Department of Seven license holders, where they need, they can't fly over crowds, and if they do fly over crowds, they need a special clearance from the FAA first?
Yes, but that's also part of the waiver we received for the Beyond Visual Line of Sight.
Okay, cool. And then my last question, you guys mentioned like butt dials and then like dispatching the drone then. How many times do you guys dispatch an officer for a misdial?
I actually can't tell you that.
Is there any
If we get a
statistics on it? Like,
I'm sure if someone wanted to do the research on it, but any kind of 911 hang up, we respond to.
So, you guys call back, which is different than dispatching someone. If this is supposed to be like first point of contact or like eyes in the sky, why dispatch a drone when we could just make a phone call?
Well, that would be on Monroe County Central Dispatch. If they got a 911 hang up, they would call back. And I'm not saying the drone pilot obviously is unable to listen to every 911 call.
Right.
That's just not, not feasible. But if it was something that they were dispatched to, hey, 911 calls, a lot of times, hang up. They'll call back and is it a kid playing? Is it, I'm sorry, I did this. Or is it someone screaming in the background? You now know there's a real reason to send that drone.
Okay. Have you signed the contract yet?
Yes.
Okay. Will you please look into some of the stuff that some of us mentioned? Because especially for risk and liability reasons, and call another municipality that has experienced some stuff that's not connected to your deal, because it could save time, money, and goodwill, and safety. It could be
And since the contract is involved, are you guys tied into continuing with them after the 1-year trial?
We have 365-day opt-out, no money.
Okay.
If we continue past
No,
that.
you're not.
What's that?
Like, no, you're not. You do not like that. You will not like them by the time you're done either.
Well, luckily we got those 365 days.
And at the end of the day, the results are the results. That's why it's not a decision that's going to be made by one
Right.
person. It's going to be a group put together to evaluate it effectively.
If you need any nice citizens.
I'm sorry?
I said, if you need any nice citizens that will communicate honestly, just let me know. I'm joking. I mean, I'm not joking. If you're serious about it.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to take your 2 questions.
Quick question, when did that 365 day period?
I can't hear you, man.
When did that 365 day period start?
Not until we go live with the base station, they're ready to fly.
And we're minimum, and we're 20 weeks. Social an opportunity to evaluate everything that was said here tonight, in what direction. We're gonna put stuff out on social media to remain that transparency. Yep, not a problem, we appreciate it, yes.
So last December, there was some investigative journalism that came out about 60+ block cameras, basically, because Flock's the responsibility as a company, streaming live onto the public internet for anyone's access without you having anything else like that. Is that taken into account when you were doing security assessments and what companies use?
Again, we look at everything that's out there. We have to look at what's truth and what's false. Okay? We know there's been some happening. We're well aware of
Are you
this.
saying that that information is wrong?
Pardon me?
Are you saying that that information?
I did not say that. I said there's some information that is factual, and there's some information that's fictional. And I personally will bear out what I can to find out if something's bad. Along with, I trust our IT director with everything. And if he says it's something we need to be concerned about, then we're gonna take his advice, 100%. Because that's his skill set. That's why he's the IT director and I'm not. That's why I'm a sheriff.
So you're not saying that it's difficult. It kind of sounds like you're not heard about that. Have you heard about that incident?
Sir, I'm overloaded with information. I do the best I can with what I have. And if it's something that gets my attention to a project, we look into it. Or this man brought up a thing, good information, we will put that in. If you have information, you're more than welcome to email it to us, and we will look into it and respond back. All right? Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I appreciate your time and patience, and I value the information you shared with us.